Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is a walk round of an Adria Matrix motorhome. So starting with walk round of the outside on the driver's side. So you've got on your keys an Adria key, and that operates all the locks on the motorhome body. So in here you have your mains connectivity point, so you'd simply hook up like so. Always hook the vehicle up first, and then you'd go to your hookup point and hook that source up and do in reverse when unhooking. And here you've got your external TV and 12 volt point for if you want a telly in your awning when you set up on site. You've got two USBs, a satellite, two satellite points, so there'll be TV aerials, and one will be a blank for if you've ever got a satellite fitted to this motorhome in the future. And then you do have a 12 volt source there to power a TV or a 12 volt appliance. With the wire, so because this is a frame, what you've got to do is you've got to take this little grommet out, put your cable through there, and then you can then shut the door. So if you just leave a little bit in there, shut the door on itself and turn the lock, you can then lock the door and seal it with the wire in. You've got your habitation door, which again you can manually open or lock, but and then you do have your central locking on your habitation door as well with the main set of keys. Coming further along the vehicle, you've got your two fridge vents and your awning light inside, which is operated from the main control panel, which I'll show you when I'm on board. You've got your flip key, so you can open your cassette. So with the cassette, you've got to make sure the blade on the bottom bowl of the toilet, the grey slide lever, is closed, and you'll be able to lift and slide out. You then remove the cap so it's exposed like so. Go to your waste disposal point. You do have wheels on there as well, so you can wheel it instead of carrying it. Press the orange button and tip it out. Once you've tipped it out, if you put some water in and just give it a rinse out, another thorough clean, and then you can either, if using the tablet form, you put a pint of fresh water into the cassette and drop a tablet through the hatch into here. Or if you're using the liquid form, you'd use your grey cap, which goes on the end here as a measuring stick, tip it in and then seal the cassette. Push it back into the vehicle and always make sure this bit clicks and goes into this little groove, and then that is located and ready to use. Coming to the back of the vehicle, you've got your large garage space on this model. So in here, this is your toolkit, which has got a jack and a brace and a towing eye in there, so everything you need to change your wheel or be towed off the side of the road. You've got tethering points, and again you can just twist these and move them to where you need them, so however big your object is you can tie it down. You've got a 3-pin 240 socket in here for charging electric bikes or batteries or anything, or power for the awning. 10 amp 12 volt, and then you've got your bed switch. So depending on how big your bikes are or whatever you're carrying in the garage, you can press this button and this will push this right the way up and give you more space to utilize the garage space. Or if you wanted the bed lower, you can pop the bed down there. And as you can see, you've got your carpets, your ladder and your carb mat. Storage drawer in here for your little bits and pieces as well. And you do have, your external shower. So it's hot and cold feed shower, so just go into there and you turn it on here. Make sure you've got hot water on board if you want to use the hot, and obviously make sure the pump's on to allow the water to come to up to the taps. Come around the back of the vehicle, you've got your rails for a bike rack where the body's being strengthened to take your bikes, and you've got your reversing camera and your high level brake light. You've also got on this model parking sensors along the bottom there. Come around to the other side, so just garage space again. So max payload on this garage is 200 kilograms. You've got your waste water You've got your wastewater here. So this is where all the waste will, you drive over a grate, anything you've put down a plug hole goes into a separate holding tank for your waste, and you'll be able to drain it off. Obviously that's very important in the winter as well as the fresh, which I'll show you from inside. LPG, liquid petroleum gas, this is your gas locker. So holds 2 bottles. They run off 6 kilogram propane colour bottles, and what you need to do is you need to get an adjustable spanner or a gas spanner, and it's the opposite thread, so it's left hand to tighten, nip up, turn on at the top of the bottle, then you'd press this little black button here, which is just wedged down beside the handle. Press for 3 seconds, it allows the crash valve to open. Make sure this button's always in the yellow on the regulator there. Turn on when you're on site and turn off when you're traveling, and obviously make sure the bottle is securely fastened when you're on the road. You've got your heater vent, so it just allows all the gas fumes when the heater and boiler's on. You've got a 12 volt submersible pump outlet here, so this is where you plug it into. So you just remove this cap, and there's 2 prongs in there for a feed. That's if you couldn't get a hose pipe to the vehicle, you can bring a bucket or an aqua roll, drop a pump in, and put the other end into here, which is your fresh water intake, and pump the water in. But a lot of people just go and carry a hose pipe, some hose connections, because just a brass tap on site, so you'll need the hose lock and the screw onto the brass tap, hose into there, filter it overflows or fill till you're happy there's enough water on board, which you can see on the main control panel. And this is lockable as well, like so. Come to the driver's door. With it, you've got a lockable diesel cap which opens with the main fade key, and because it's a Euro 6D compliant engine, it's got AdBlue solution, so this will come up between the fuel gauge and temperature gauge. It looks like a gust of wind light. Once it comes on, just do top it up. You can get that from most service stations, petrol stations now, or you can buy it in the drums and carry them in the garage and just top it up. It is 20-litre tank, and as soon as it comes on, do top it up, because if you let it go too low or you let it go absolutely low, the vehicle could go into limp mode, and if it went bone dry, the vehicle will just fail to start. On the door pillar here, you've got your tyre pressures, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi. Your engine battery is underneath the floor here, and your bonnet release is on the side of the dashboard. You've also got a tyre, so it doesn't come with a spare wheel, it's a tyre inflation kit on the new models. And then coming round underneath the bonnet, you've got your various liquids. So I'll start off with the screw wash, which is the one you're going to need the most. This lifts off and gives you access to the coolant, and the one beside it, which is your power steering fluid. You've got your brake fluid, your engine oil filler and engine oil dipstick, your paint code, which is 611, an earth for giving or receiving a jump start, and then if you just put your key in here or a screwdriver lift up, that's your positive, where you'd put your positive jump lead on for giving or receiving a jump start. Go off this weight as well, so forget about this, it's not a chassis cab anymore. So it's 3650 gross vehicle weight. Your train weight is 5,600, which is 5.6 ton, and then you've got your chassis number and your build numbers on there. So once you step inside the motorhome, you've got your 12 volt control panel, and on this model you've got your Aldi heating. So start off with this one first. So you've got your on off here. This is touchscreen as well as using the wheel. You've got your lights, so you can touch. So if you use the dial there, that's your on and light, which you can turn on or off. You can go to your main lights, turn them on and off. Below you've got your temperature of inside the motorhome and outside. So as you can see, inside's 23 degrees, outside is 10. You've got your settings, so you've got your backlight, your date and time, and your screen timeout for when the screen turns itself off. You've got your pump here, so you can turn your pump on and off for your water, on and off. And then this side you've got your batteries, so you can view your battery level. So you should see that the engine battery is 14 volts and the leisure battery is 14.3 volts, which is, and 2.38 amp is coming off that battery, so you can see your withdrawal. And then you can see your water level, so you've got 25% of fresh water and 0 waste, and then you've got a back button there. But from here you can kind of see everything without going into it, so you can see that you're hooked up, that your awning light's off, that it's 23 degrees inside the vehicle and 10 outside. You're charging your leisure battery, you've got 25% of fresh water, 0 waste, and the pump is off. So when you step inside the Adria motorhome, you've got your main 12 volt control panel. So if you're hooked up, you'll get an indication here that you're on mains 240 volt electric. And then you've got the various switches down the side. So we'll start off with the top one on the left hand corner, which is your lights. So you can see there that you've got your interior lights on, and you use the scroller here. So you'll see a shadow around it there. If you just press OK, you can turn the interior lights on or off, which then are all individually switched. And if we move to this right hand side, you've got your awning light on and off, which is the light just above the habitation door just out here. Moving further down, you've got your temperature. So you've got your internal temperature, so it's saying it's 26 degrees inside the motorhome and it's 12 degrees outside. You've got your settings there, so you can change the date and the time, the brightness of the panel. You've got your pump, so you can turn your pump on and off. So you need your pump on to use all your taps, toilets and shower within the vehicle. So any water use, put your pump on. Obviously if there's not enough water in the tank, don't put your pump on, as there is risk of burning the pump out. And then this side you've got on and off for your main control panel. You've got your batteries, so if you can view your battery level there, so 14.1 volt in the engine battery and 14.3 volt in the leisure battery, and there's 0.51 amps currently being used. And then you've got your water levels here, so you see fresh 50%, waste is 0. And then that all tells you here, so you see temperature inside the van, temperature outside the van, your hooked up is on, your awning light is on, you're charging your leisure battery, you've got 50% of fresh water, 0 waste, and your pump is on. Moving to this side, you've got your Aldi heating and hot water system, so you turn on and off here by the green light, and then you get this screen. So first of all, it's telling me that it's circulating the heat. We're on mains electric. The temperature inside the motorhome is set to 31 degrees and the temperature outside is 8. So if you just press the menu button here, it takes you into the settings. So you've got the house with a thermometer on, so this is how hot you want inside the motorhome to be. So you can have it all the way to 30 degrees or all the way down to off. And then below you've got your shower, which is your hot water. So turn your hot water on there, goes to a full black bar. That is heating your water. Got the electricity symbol here, so this is how to heat the vehicle or the water on electric. So off, you've got 1 kilowatt, 2 kilowatts and 3 kilowatts. Just depending on the amperage the site gives you, you can adjust and use the accordingly setting. And then on the bottom you've got the gas, so you can have the gas and the electric on together. Say if it's in the winter time and you're away and it's really cold, obviously putting both sources on together reduces the time that it takes to heat the water of the vehicle. Or you would just use gas when you're wild camping and you weren't hooked up, as you wouldn't want to waste your gas if you were hooked up on a site where you've paid for your electric. You can go into settings here and go further and set timers, but I'll not complicate it for the time being. We'll keep it as very simple. There is separate videos on the Aldi heating system from Aldi themselves, which explains a bit more in depth. And then underneath you've got this little switch here, and it's got heater exchange pump. And what that does is, say you have driven for an hour, 2 hours to a site and your engine is to temperature, what it does is the pump, if you turn the pump on, it pumps the wasted heat from the engine on the Fiat Ducato into the Aldi boiler and pre-warms it so it's not starting from a cold boiler, which then in theory should get the vehicle to temperature a lot quicker. And that switch is just here. And just underneath your wall mounted cabinets, you've got two 3-pin plugs for your kettle and toaster, got a light switch, and you have your extractor fan. So put the light on around the window frame, surround, and then you've got your extractor fan. So to operate your Thetford tall fridge freezer, you turn on here, which is where you get the blue light, and then you would press, which will indicate which source you're on. So at the minute it's A, which stands for automatic energy selection, and it's automatically gone to the hookup, which is mains 240 power as we're hooked up. So with the automatic energy selection, it knows which best source is suitable for you. So at the moment we've got a gas bottle on and we've got the hookup. Obviously it knows not to waste your gas, so it's gone to the hookup. If I was to then start the engine, it would go the 12-volt battery setting, which isn't off your leisure battery, it's off your engine battery. When the alternator is running, it sends a feed direct to the fridge to keep it at the same temperature it was at when departing. So the idea here is that you'd pre-chill your fridge either at home the day before, put your shopping in, chill it all down, and then when you're ready to go the next day, if it's on automatic, it'll automatically switch over. Or if you're moving from site to site, your shopping stays fresh. If you did want to move it manually, you would press this square button here, wait till it starts flashing, and use the arrows. So there I've gone on to mains power, I've gone on to battery, or I've gone on to gas on its own, and then you get the temperature. Obviously 1 bar being the warmest, 5 bars being the coldest, and then that is lit on gas. When you have finished using the fridge for the season, if you do just clean it all out, give it a wipe down, leave no remaining items in the fridge, and then if you just pull this blue little catch out, it'll stop the door from locking on itself and forming an airtight seal, which means then the mould and the won't grow in the fridge because there's air ventilating in and out. And above the fridge on this model, you've got the Adria media center. So what this is it is a Bluetooth speakers within the ceiling. So you turn on and off just down here on the little button here, and then you turn the volume, connect your phone via Bluetooth, or you can connect via auxiliary or USB-C on here, and then you can stream your music and it'll play throughout the various parts of the vehicle, including behind the shower, which I think is a very good feature. And in the kitchen area, you've got your lit oven, and above your grill. And with the oven shelf, you always want to make sure that the funny shape is at the back, which stops the burner from being blocked. And you might want to take your oven shelves and grill pan out when travelling. Your catches, so to lock, you'd push them in, push them out, use the handle, obviously pull the door front down. You've got storage under here, storage drawers, and if you just push here, this is where you'll find your gas isolation taps. Any problems with gas, turn the bottle off just to be safe. These are mainly for when the vehicle is yearly habitation serviced. And above, so you've got your 3 gas rings. So lit there, allow them to cool down before you put the glass lid down. And above, you've got your drawers and cupboards on gas struts. And then underneath you've got your telly bracket, 3-pin plug, a 12-volt, and a connection for the aerial. But to operate the TV bracket, you'd have to pull this down, and then what you want to do is slide it out. So pull it down, slide it out, and then what you can do is turn the TV, mount the TV on here. You can turn it round in the bedroom, or of course you can turn it into the lounge. And then always make sure it's back facing and then it's pushed in and it's clipped in there, so it shouldn't. So it needs to be pushed in, pull that down, push it in and clip it in so that it's secure for when you're on the road. And then you do have your step switch, your lights which are dimmable just here. And to work your large roof light, you'd wind your hand, use your winding handle and wind, and you do have fly screen and blackout blind on there, and obviously allow that to shut properly before you start travelling. Coming into the bedroom area, you've got a wardrobe, hanging space either side, and again a bleed point for your Aldi central heating system. You've got your dimmable lights, they just dim the lights above the cabinets, and you've got a dimmer this side and that side of the bed, as well as twin USBs to charge your device on both sides of the island bed. If you just push these cupboards in, they're on gas struts and they'll open. And this is just storage for all your items. And then you've got the same skylight which just winds as in the kitchen, so you can wind that open and wind it shut. And then blackout and fly screen. And then to keep the bed up when it's down, you just pull this bar out here and pop it into here, into there. It will stand up and you've got storage in the bed. This is where the frame for the travelling seats lives. It just clips in here, which I'll show you in a second. Underneath the double floor in the front, you'll find your fresh water tank, so you can gain access here if you wanted to clean it out once a season, like so. And then to drain it down, i.e. you've taken on contaminated water, or you want to do the all-important winter drain down, you just turn this and the water will drain directly underneath the chassis. So open it up, let all the water drain out, open your waste, which I'll show you in a minute. It's on a switch beside the passenger seat. Open all your taps within the vehicle and take your shower head off and drain the vehicle down. But you've also got some pipelines to open on this model, so you've got two in here just underneath. These two blue toggles, you turn them and they're just your hot and cold water feed pipes open. Just eliminate any water that's in the pipe, stop the pipes from freezing. You've got one underneath the bed in that cupboard there, so if I just show you, you've got one just under here, a little blue toggle tap in there which you just open, and then you'd open your all-important boiler, which is just located under this flap further back. Just here. Obviously when the diamond's across the van, the nib at the top's down and the button on the side here is pushed in. You turn that so it goes front to back, the nib pops out, there's a little button at the bottom, blue one pops out, and that's draining 10 litres of water directly out your boiler to stop the boiler from freezing in the winter. Do make sure you drain the boiler off, open any pipes as it's not covered under warranty, as it's your responsibility to drain the vehicle down. And when I'm down here, this little button here, so is for your waste to drain off. So you go up, down to drain the waste off, which is any water they put down a plug hole, goes into a separate holding tank. You drive over a special disposal point on site and open your waste, which is then electronically controlled off that switch. Another telly point here, so 12 volt and aerial, and then a point to mount a bracket on. And then you've got your lights for in your bedroom area here, and some storage in there, which is just behind the shower. Access from the front. and wardrobe space. In this side you'll see a pink liquid. This is your Aldi antifreeze liquid. So when the system's running, it tends to show more than when the system's off because it's hot, it's expanded the liquid. So always check the liquid level after running the system up. Never think, oh, I'll have to top it up, because there's a min and a max, and 10 times out of 10 it'll show lower when it's off than it does when it's on. So top it up once you've had the system running and you can see the true level. Otherwise you could overfill it. Then you would just fill by removing the cap and filling with Aldi antifreeze liquid, which you can buy from us or from any other motorhome and caravan website or dealership. And then your fifth belted seat is assembled like so. So it's always a travelling back seat. So this would normally be on there. Turn that round. You've also got a frame which clips in, which I'll show you how to clip in, but this is a frame that lives underneath the bed. So if we just take this off, just velcroed, and then what you need to do is pull the locator bar out, lift up, you take the head restraint off, and then this will just clip underneath the bed. Like so, and then you'd put the turnbuckles on, and then should you need it, you'd lift it out and put it onto the seat. Once you have the travelling seat off in place, underneath is your various electrical units. So you've got your 12 volt unit with all your 12 volt fuses on, which are listed. So I would go and carry some spare blade fuses with you just in case one does blow, you can change it. You've got your leisure battery, and most of all you've got your trip switches and RCD tester there. So if the vehicle was to be tripped out, try here before you try your main site. And to control your electric drop down bed, there's a small switch just here, and you just bring the bed down. It's just on a 12 volt electric motor. This bed takes a maximum weight of 200 kilograms. Depending on what height you want to stop it at, you may have to just remove these two headrests. But then you do have nets on both sides, so if you put small children up here, you can stop them preventing rolling out during the night. But it is a double bed, and then you have got a privacy curtain which slides along as well. But should this switch fail or the 12 volt fail, you've got a little reset fuse there for the 12 volt, which just resets the bed motor. So if somebody gets on and you try to put it up with some weight on, it can tend to cut the motor out. Just for safety, you would just have to reset the fuse, which is this one here, and then you can push the bed back up. To operate your Thetford toilet, what you need to do is make sure the pump's on to obviously give you your flush, which you then press this button here, a little flush. Always flush the toilet before use, which lubricates the blade. And then to release the blade, slide to the left, use the toilet, and then flush the toilet after use and isolate the blade, slide to the left, which then allows you to get the cassette out. Always use it with the blade open. A lot of people will tell you to use it with the blade shut, but we always say use it with the blade open because it lubricates the blade. The blade isn't 100% watertight anyway, so if you want to use the toilet and fill it with flush, and then the water would be seeping through here anyway, and it would actually be flooding around the cassette, so it wouldn't be going into the cassette, it would be going into the locker itself. So always open it first, and then it'll all go into the cassette without causing any mess for you to have to mop up. And that is a across all motorhomes how to use this toilet. So it's not a design fault with it not being 100% watertight. It's designed to be open when in use. And then you'll get a little red light here when the cassette's full, and it's telling you to take it out, empty it, give it a rinse and top it up with chemical. In your shower cubicle, your doors are on magnetic catches there, so do just make sure they're folded back when travelling. And then you do have your light switch, which is just behind here on the little rocker switch. And above you've got the skylight, which you push, pull, put into the groove if you wanted it to be open and allow ventilation after showering. And always make sure that the bar's above the button, which indicates it's fully shut before travel. And you've got a blackout blind and a fly screen on there as well. When winterizing, if you just unclip your shower head, which is a waterfall shower head, and allow this hose to lie in the shower tray and leave the mixer tap open, as you can see it's got quite a loop in there, and it's just a rubber pipe, so any water in there that was potentially to freeze would crack and split that pipe. So now in the cab, so you do have your handbrake to the right of the driver, and then you've got your electric windows and electric mirror adjustments, which is just the top and the bottom, and then you've got your cab blind. So what you need to do is slide the lever forward, expose the magnet at the front, slide it up, and then the magnet just clips onto the door there, like so, and then you pinch your windscreen ones, slide them together, and they're just on a magnet there. So you just, like so, just on a magnet. But if it's going to be a windy night, I'd advise putting something just round the handles to stop them blowing open. And then down here you've got your various lights controls, so you can dip and lower your headlights. You've got your front and rear fog lights, and you've got your disconnect, your start stop. So if you didn't want that, it would go off. But with the start stop, because motorhomes don't do the mileage a car does, your start stop depends on various things before it will work. The battery's got to be to a certain charge level. You can't have any of this on, otherwise obviously your fans and things, that'll eat more power, so it will need a constant supply of charge. So if you didn't want it on, you would press there. But when you go to because this is 9-speed auto, when you go to the traffic light, so you come to a stop, put your foot on the brake obviously, and it will cut the engine out should the charge be sufficient in the battery. If not, obviously it won't cut out, so all that needs is the battery to be charged up to work again. You've got your lights and your indicators here, obviously wipers this side with trip computer, which goes through the screen, so it tells you instant average consumption, your range, your mileage that you've travelled, and your travelling times. You've got all your steering wheel controls, so mute, volume, voice command, hands free. This will scroll through your phone contacts, your media or your radio channels. You've got your cruise control at the top, which will get your little green button on down here, light. Get the desired speed, then just push up and it'll set the cruise control. Should you have to brake or you want to cancel it, you can either brake and cancel it by the foot brake, or you can press cancel or resume and it'll take it to the last set speed before the engine was turned off. Speed limit at the bottom, which shows you in the top right left hand corner. See, if you press and hold, it goes up in 5s. If you go up in 1s, little bits, it goes up in 1s. So you can set that. But then it does have the kick down function, so should you have to get yourself out of a bit of a situation, you can just put your foot flat to the floor and it will override the speed limiter. 9-speed automatic, so you have got park, so you can put in park, use a handbrake, or if you're on level, a flat surface, you don't need to use a handbrake. But obviously we do advise that you still use your handbrake, as if you weren't to use it, obviously things can seize up, so we do advise that you use it as well. You've got drive modes, which goes on here, so you've got 3 settings: power, eco and normal. I would just leave it in normal myself, and then should you need that extra bit of power, obviously put your foot down and it will drop a gear and give you the power needed. Eco doesn't save you any fuel usage. And then obviously you've got reverse, which brings on your rear view camera, and you can hear your sensors beeping there. neutral, drive, and then you can push over to the left and you can go up and down your gears. So there it's gone to 1, 2, and then across to D for drive. Traction control, hill descent control, with it being an automatic, so it stops it getting away with itself on steep hills. Just basically it uses a bit of an engine brake on the engine to slow you down, so that if you have to be on the foot brake all the time. Hazards, locks the doors on an evening, and heated mirrors. 12 volt for charging and a USB for charging. There's your 12 volt for streaming, and I'll get onto that in a moment. Cup holders. Temperature on the outside ring, fan speed on the in, must be on at least 1 or more for the aircon to work. And then you do have your distribution and whether you're circulating air within motorhome or bringing fresh air in. Coming to the head unit, so this head unit is Apple CarPlay ready, so as soon as you connect your device it will work for your Apple CarPlay. So you can use your maps and you can basically imitate your phone screen onto here. You've got your radio, which is FM, AM and DAB. And you can press 1 to 4 to save, or you can go along and you can save up to 12. So your stations, you go to stations, and then obviously you just refresh and find all your stations you require. Going back home, you've got telephone, so you can connect your phone by going phone, add, find, Fate. So you're searching for Fate 1289 on this device, and you've got a 2-minute countdown, and you'd go onto your phone and pair for that, and the pin will appear. Press pair on here, press pair on your phone, and then it'll ask you if you want to sync your contacts, and you can do that. And then whoever rings you, it'll come up with a number and a name if it's saved instead of just a number. You've got media, which is obviously either, because this doesn't take CD, you can have a USB with all your songs on. You can have your phone, Apple CarPlay, or another phone with USB connectivity, and it'll obviously pair your phone through there and stream your music off your device. You've got your screen off, so you can turn your screen off if you're on site and you don't want your screen on because it's too bright, and then as soon as you touch it, it comes on. And then you've got your, if you're going to use this is Motorhome Pacific sat nav through the Fate unit, so you can go onto here and then click down in the right hand corner, new route, and then you can add your places, so address places you've been or save locations, or you can search all and you can search for various, say, fuel stations and so on. And then you're a Ducato, so your name's Ducato. You can put your maximum speed in there, you can put your height, your width, your length in, and if you've got a trailer on or not. So if you're going to put a tow bar on and potentially tow a car or a small trailer, and then you can put your actual weight. So I'll change that because this is 3.65 ton. 2 axles, and you can set various, so you can show the page on the route planning, or you can just have the map on, and obviously you can click here and it'll show you your speed, your arrival time, your time left, and your distance left. So that's quite good if you want to know how long's left of the journey. You can click onto there and it'll show you, and you can turn it on and off here, or you can go, you've got the shortcuts there, radio, media, phone and nav. So that just basically does this top bit on here. And then you do have a glove box here, which is heated and cooled by the air conditioning, so that's great in the summer months if you've got suites when you're on the road, instead of getting back up and down to the fridge. And then should you need it, there's camper assistance number there,